Good morning. I hope you are all doing well today. And as usual, we just give it a few moments because I know a few people had last minute issues popping in. So if you can see me and hear me, please drop a comment below. Great, and I can see there is some people jumped on. Brilliant, guys, don't be shy. Say hello, that's what you are here for. Hi, Sarah, I think that's your picture, Sarah. Let me know, great to have you here again today. Super excited, and boundaries is something that we can all learn from. Hi, Rachel, or Sandra, sorry, Sandra. There's a Sandra and a Sarah, so I'm mixing the two of you up. So, who is excited for today? Let me know where you're watching from and how you're doing this morning. It is a windy, blustery one this morning. I was thinking of going out on the bike, but cycling on the bike when it's like this is so much tougher, especially when you face the headwind on the way back. Good morning. I see Cora is there. Excellent. So I'm just going to, as I said, give it another minute or so because I know I'd sent an email out, but I think the emails might have gone into people's spam because they had trouble getting it. And okay. Okay, great. Hey everyone, greetings from Berlin, 20 degrees here today and a sunny, beautiful day. Oh, I'm not jealous one bit whatsoever. I'm sure us ladies here in Ireland are not. When I say ladies, it's mainly ladies that are in the group. So forgive me for the men, it's a bit of a habit. Great, so I can see a few of you online. So, as always, the more you interact with something like this, the more you get from it because we can always learn from other people's experiences. So don't be shy, as I said before, and I think it's a good reminder, it's a safe place to share. And when you post comments or anything like this in a closed group, it is private and it stays within the group. It's not on a normal Facebook feed, and that may seem, something that you just know, but there's actually a lot of people who aren't, I suppose, that familiar with Facebook and don't use it as much, and it can get a tad confusing. So happy to have you guys here today. And I am just going to open the few notes I made. So boundaries is something that is really kind of a fascinating subject, isn't it? And one thing I've learned over the last year or so of, because usually on my Facebook page I would do lives, probably not as much the last week or two, but typically I would do lives every week, 3 to 5 times a week. And one of the things that comes back all the time and that I'm learning in my own personal development group, and it is all around boundaries and how I suppose we just maybe we don't have any boundaries in place. So do you have boundaries in place? Pop a comment in the box below, let me know. As I said, don't be shy, step in. Do you have boundaries in place, yes or no? And I'm going to give you a minute to let me know. So do you have boundaries in place, yes or no? We're very shy this morning, so we are. Okay, no one willing to jump in yet, that's all right. So a little bit about me. For those of you who are new to the group and don't know me, Cassia, 50-50. Good. So for those who don't know me, I am a personal empowerment and confidence coach, and I work with mainly females, but have worked with some guys as well. And as I said, obviously the title is Boundaries and Confidence, and this is something that I work on, we all need to work on. And I have actually just created my first course just all around boundaries, and I have 10 amazing beta testers in for it. So I'm super excited to come back to you about that. And at the end of the call, I am going to offer 3 ladies a chance to work with me, and I'm going to pop my calendar into the comments and on top of the post, okay? So that's enough about me. So when we think about boundaries, my Mac is going all funny here in the background. So physical boundaries around your personal space, what you are comfortable with and what you are not comfortable with. And you may not think it, and I probably wouldn't have necessarily thought of it either, but boundaries are also very important in your physical relationship, in your intimate relationship, if you do have a partner. And setting emotional boundaries as well is really, really important, because I don't know about you, but when I don't, and I have done it loads of times in the past, and I'm sure you have as well, when I don't stick to what my boundaries are, I can find other people's energies really draining. I can find I'm just kind of getting annoyed with people, and really at the end of the day, it's about me standing in my own power. And I'll give you 1 or 2 examples of when I haven't stuck to my boundaries. So a couple of years back, I suppose the first business that I had, as anyone who has a business here, or whether you do or you don't, whether you have a 9-to-5 job, whatever the case may be, that boundary where you have people messaging you or ringing or wanting to speak to you outside of your normal working hours. And I had a client who was feeling overwhelmed and wanted to arrange a meeting with me, but we hadn't actually a time arranged to meet. And this particular person would, message me at all hours of the day and night, and was quite full on. And really it was my own, I don't like to use the word fault, but it was my own fault, because when I took on working with this person, when they messaged me first, when it was outside my boundaries time, let's say 9:00 on a Friday night when I'm sitting down, I replied to them. So I gave them the idea that it was okay to do this. And that was a valuable lesson, because, we can't be 24/7 online, ready to speak to someone, or 24/7, whether it's family or whatever the case may be. And that was a really valuable learning experience, because it was too much, and it actually ended up with us not working together. And that's a whole other conversation for another day, around knowing who it is that you want to work with in your business. And that's something that I'm going to cover again. So anyways, the physical boundaries, so your personal space, whether that is, as I said, with your partner, your husband, your wife, whatever the case may be, personal boundaries are so important. And whether this is your family. So how many times have you given in to someone, whether it's your family or maybe your close friends, where you have this 1 hour set out for yourself on a Saturday evening from 7 to 8, someone asks you to do something, and then you end up giving in because you feel bad or you're afraid to let that person down. And really, when we get to a stage where we know what our boundaries are, and I'm going to lay that out in a minute, how you will know those. When you know what your boundaries are and you step you step into your power, you hold your power for yourself without giving in all the time, this is where the confidence comes. And it's only when you do something that initially, yes, makes you feel uncomfortable. You can feel uncomfortable about setting boundaries, but even that one tiny little step that you can take will help. And it may not, happen straight away, but that little bit of just boundaries, and it's respecting yourself and your time, because us ladies are renowned for giving and putting ourselves last and everyone else first, and having no boundaries in place, and feeling that if we don't have boundaries in place that we're going to upset someone, or maybe someone isn't going to like us. But those people will end up respecting you for doing the same, and maybe think, oh God, I wish I was like her, just not saying yes to something all the time. So, ladies, do you resonate with this? Are you saying yes to doing something or going somewhere, or saying yes to your partner when you know you need that space to yourself? Pop a comment in the box and let me know that you are still here and I'm not sending you falling asleep. And I'm going to have a little sip of coffee because I kind of think I need it this morning. So I suppose that's physical boundaries in relation to your space. Forgive me, I will be looking at my laptop a little bit because I have you on the phone here. So personal space and your physical boundaries. As I said, I'm having an early night. I'm going for a walk, and sorry, I'm just getting a message there, so it distracted me. So what I do is, so my partner, we've got 2 boys, and we all need our own space. So what I do now is, if I want space on myself, I go for a walk, or I might go up to the room, I might read for an hour, and I just take that time away for me. It's not something that I would have done in the past, but it's something that I'm very strict on that I have now. So let me know in the comments if you do this for you, with your partner, with your children, and even if you don't have a partner and children, like this can be like your mother, your father, your sister, whatever the case may be. So emotional boundaries are respecting and honouring your feelings and energy. Setting emotional boundaries mean recognising just how much emotion that this can take out of you when you're not I suppose giving yourself that time, and knowing when it is that you want to share something with someone, whoever the case may be. And time boundaries are really something that we can all struggle with as well. If you're working your 9 to 5, or I know some of you here have your own businesses, it's always time, isn't it? Noelle, after coming out of an abusive marriage, so I'm learning how to set boundaries. Okay, Noelle, well done for you. And it sounds like you've a lot going on at the moment, and definitely I think boundaries are, to be honest, I think years ago I probably wouldn't have been even aware of boundaries. I probably thought I would have had boundaries in place, and actually something I was reading there lately. So there's a difference between boundaries and closing yourself off to someone. So I would have closed myself off to people. And they may not have even, actually they probably weren't even aware that I was closing myself off to people. And the reason that I did this was I didn't want to get hurt. So there's a difference between shutting yourself away, and having boundaries in place. And like I said, and if we're being honest, the boundaries a lot, they probably come from family. Maybe there's this tradition in the household that every Sunday you go to such and such's house for dinner. But maybe it's something that you really don't like doing, and you resent doing it every week, but yet you carry on doing it because there's that perception, there's that belief that that's what we have to do because that's what we've always done. Yes, 100%. I forget about myself sometimes and put others first, often with older brother who is overwhelmed with his responsibilities, kids, and needs my help. So, Cassia, without, I suppose, knowing, if you're, again, and it doesn't really matter, I'm just using me as an example. So, I would have been single. I don't have my own children, so often the perception is that, oh sure, she's nothing to do. She doesn't have any responsibilities. Like sure, she has plenty of time to do X, Y, and Z. And often I might have been the go-to person to do, bring such and such here, or will you do this for me and mind kids? And I absolutely don't mind doing that at all, and often I would do that. But again, it's the perception that, I was there ready, available, because I may not have something else to be doing. So what would the boundaries look for you, Cassia? What could you do around that with your brother and you being kind of there to help? And remember, when you're setting boundaries in place, and I'll give you some examples, you don't have to let this person know that, you can say, that doesn't really suit me, but I can offer you 1 hour of my time on this day instead. Okay? So time boundaries, as I said, they might sound like, I can only stay an hour. Do you have time to chat today? I can't come over this weekend. And so again, let's say Sundays. I don't mind doing the masterclass on Sundays. I know doing training and turning up for something, whether, and again, you turning up for this. So maybe you were slightly stepping outside your boundaries because Sunday is your family time. So you really got to know, I suppose, what it is that works for you. And so yeah, don't have the time to chat. You can say no to someone in a respectable way. You just have to figure out what the best way it is to approach that. And as I said, I'd really like to help you out today, Caroline, but unfortunately I'm committed to doing something else this weekend. I do have some free time next weekend if that suits you, etc. So let me know if this makes sense to you, and if you have any examples of maybe when someone crossed your boundaries. And as I said, with the boundaries as well, with relationships is your sexual boundaries. And this is really important, and I don't think it's something that couples probably even talk about. I know, as I said, 10 or 15 years ago, it definitely isn't something that I would have talked about. Well, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, it probably would. So having that discussion with your partner, your intimate partner, on a sexual conversation, what it is you're comfortable with and what it is you're not comfortable with. Like, some people are really uncomfortable with public displays of affection and holding hands, and maybe you are the person that, doesn't want your, personal space invaded, or doesn't want your ass being slapped, or whatever the case is. And I know that probably seems flippant, but there is a huge amount of consent there. So asking your partner, is it okay to do this? Or saying to your partner, I like this, but I'm really not comfortable with doing that, so I would prefer not to do this. Okay? And saying no to things that you don't like and may hurt you or make you feel really uncomfortable with. Then we come to, I suppose, intellectual boundaries. And boundary, I suppose, often when we're talking and we can get really heated in some conversations, there's usually things that I don't get involved in conversation with, and that's usually politics and religion, mainly because I don't, well, first of all, I don't know enough about them, and second of all, I don't have a huge amount of interest in politics. But what I have learned over the years, excuse me, I'm just going to take a drink. What I have learned over the years is that we all have different opinions and different beliefs. And I've seen so many people arguing with each other and falling out over these. And just remember that everyone has a different viewpoint, a different model of the world. And if you take 6 people, let's say, okay, I grew up in a household with 6 girls. And if you take anything, watching a television show, or your mother and father having an argument, you will all have a different view of what that is. It's like Chinese whispers. If I say something to you and then you pass it on to the next person, we all have a different take on something. And isn't it, I always say, isn't it amazing that we're all completely different? The world would be so boring if we were all the same. So for me, acknowledging that you have a completely different opinion to me, and vice versa, you could be watching me and saying, oh God, she's talking absolutely rubbish. And that's perfectly okay. That would not upset me. It would not faze me, because I'm not right and you're not wrong. We just have different viewpoints. And that is coming down to our values as well. So when people do something that we don't like, because that goes outside our values. So your values is some things like being genuine, being honest, being authentic, freedom. So when someone does something to you, if you, as an example, let's say you know someone is completely lying about something and that really triggers you and annoys you because it's not something that is a value to you. So you're going to be annoyed or triggered or upset at that person. And knowing your values as well and what's important to you. So if that's honesty, your family, having that set time with your family every weekend, and maybe you have this one family member or one friend or whatever the case may be that is always pushing or asking for something that's outside that, well then that is going to trigger you. So let me know you're still here, guys. Don't be shy. As I said, the more you interact with this, the more that you will get from it. Okay? And let me know if it makes sense, or what has worked for you or what isn't working for you. As I said, I've given some examples of, and thanks for the love, whoever has given it to me. So then material boundaries, so around your material possessions. And as just said, I grew up with 5 sisters. Actually, material possessions wouldn't have made a big difference then, because we all wore each other's clothes, and I'm sure many of us did then. Hi Karen, thanks for watching. So what are the advantages of boundaries? Firstly, it's going to be a huge advantage to your mental health. As I said, if you feel like there are people tugging at you all the time, and like I said before, and I can't say it enough, I don't care if this person is your mother, if it's your sister, if it's your child, if it's your work colleague, whoever it is, you have the absolute right to create boundaries for yourself and to literally not go outside those boundaries. Like I could have my mom or my friend, whoever it is, text me or ring me. And if I am doing something, or I am in a place, especially where I'm feeling low of energy, because, which I do, because I suppose when you're in this line of work, you have to protect your own energy levels. And if I go into a place that I am feeling that I have to do this rather than I want to do it, then that's just going to lower my vibration, and it's going to, I suppose, just go round and round in my head. And I won't say upset me, but bother me, I suppose, would be a word that I would use. So your mental health and your emotional health. It will help you develop your identity, help you feel stronger, standing in your power. So when we constantly let our boundaries be crossed, or constantly say yes to people when we really feel like saying no. So hands up, how many times, or can you say yes, absolutely, at one stage or another, I have said yes to doing something, or going somewhere, or jumping on a call, or whatever the case may be, with someone when you really felt like saying no. And when we constantly do these things, we are not being true to ourselves, not standing in our own power, not being our authentic self, let's say. And that can cause overwhelm, and as I said, just lower our vibration and our energies. It definitely does for me. So here again, better energy. So the more that you do this, the more time mentally, I'm not necessarily physically. Yes, physically is great too if you have that extra time to go out and do something for yourself, but better energy mentally to do something for you, to look after you. So hands up, who has done this? I bet we all have. You're just shy. So higher self-esteem, more independence, and allows us to grow. Like, definitely when I think back over the years of that time where I stayed true to my boundaries, or, you do it a lot of the time, Andrea. Am I pronouncing your name right? We do it a lot of the time. Yeah, like I said, us ladies, we do that, don't we? Same here. Okay, great. Some girls aren't shy. So as I said, don't be afraid to share. Anything that is said in here is completely confidential and private, and the more that you do comment and interact, the more that you will get from it. So ladies, when you say you do that, why do you feel you do that? What is it? Why? I want you to think about why it is you do that. Why do you do whatever that thing is? Okay? Because if you question yourself, and I like to question myself all the time around everything it is that I do, and I don't mean necessarily in a negative way, because I like to challenge myself. I like to challenge my perceptions of myself. I like to challenge my perceptions of the world. I like to challenge my perceptions of other people and what they think of me. So when you are, as you said, doing this a lot, ladies, and the same here, why are you doing that? Why are you feeling that need to continue on with that? You don't want to upset the person. Okay. It's so common. So I would, and now I don't want to be picking on one person, but seeing as you're here, so Andrea, I would, so you don't want to upset the person. So I want you to think about one thing, whatever this thing is that you're agreeing to or giving into, for want of a word. It's not necessarily the right word. But what one small thing could you make a change in? You know, maybe you feel that you need to still do this thing, but could you change the wording that you use around that? Or could you agree to, yes, I will meet you on such and such a day, or I'll mind the kids for you, but I can only do it for an hour. So what can you do that will make a slight change for you that will give you that, you know, mental freedom, the emotional freedom, and some of your power back? So I hope that kind of makes sense for you. And ladies, when you do this, when you, as I said, I know I keep saying it because it's absolutely so important. When you take control and you realize that you're doing this and question, why are you doing it? Because you don't want to upset someone. Well, why don't you want to upset someone? Because I'm afraid they won't like me. And it's okay for someone not to like you. And, you know, I worked with someone before who was really afraid of people not liking them when they're out in public, or if they're at speaking events, or whatever the case may be. And I said, I don't actually care whether someone likes me or not. And that is true, because I know that there are people who don't like me and there are people who absolutely love me, and that's okay. That it's okay, because that is human nature. It's perfectly normal. And when you are on a personal development personal development journey, and obviously you are, because you're in here, when you implement these, and I've said to people before, what you will hear me saying is not something that maybe some of it you've never heard before, but if you look at something online, or you read a book, or you read an article, all these things, mental health, emotional health, standing in your power, these will be all things that you've heard other people saying before. But the difference is, when you actually take action and you implement them, that's when the things completely change for you. So there's something like that doesn't faze me. And I remember many, many years ago having this friend who said, oh, I like everyone. Everyone likes me. And I just found it false. It's not real. And maybe and I think the person, you know, maybe struggled with their own self-confidence. So when you are at a stage where you can stand in your own power and just make these small changes and stand by them. So I would challenge you today to make one small change. So what one small change can you make today? So comment below. Let me know one thing that you're going to commit to for you. It doesn't have to be big. Even the smallest change will make a huge difference, okay? So what one thing can you do? Pop a comment in, let me know. All right? And figuring out what your boundaries are. So what your values are, as I said. So what are your values? What is important to you? And only you can answer this. And listening to your gut instinct. Where do you get those feelings in your body when you are doing something that you know that you don't really want to do? So when we talk about our different chakras, and that's something that I'm going to speak about again, is our chakras. And when our chakras are blocked, we can be really, really low in energy. So I don't know if chakras are something that you are interested in, but I'm actually getting more and more interested in them, and I'm doing some internal work myself on my chakras. And I have noticed a huge difference in my energy levels as well. So when you combine all these little things, it's really powerful. I will try my best to stop overthinking so much about what this person will think about me, etc. Okay. So remember, and it's something that Tony Robbins' wife, I think Sage, I can't quite remember her name, but talks about in some of her training. I'm actually doing Tony Robbins in a few weeks. He's UPW. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'll be sharing loads with you about what I learned. So what she says is just remember our thoughts are thoughts. They're not real. So our subconscious mind is there to protect us. So whether we're aware of it, we're not aware of it. So there's two states we're in, which will be fear and pleasure. So we operate from 95% of our subconscious mind and 5% of our conscious mind. And I keep saying that over and over again because we often forget that. So guys, this is your overthinking and fear of what someone else will think of you is your subconscious mind trying to protect you because it doesn't want you to get hurt. Okay? But when we recognize this and move forward and push past that fear a little bit, as I said, that's when the true magic happens and you are stepping into your own power. So again, what small changes can you make today? Okay. And again, sorry, I was saying, listening to your gut instinct. Your gut instinct will not let you down. If I think over the years of when I didn't listen to my gut instinct and when I did something anyways because I felt that I had to do it and felt that it was expected of me, then the outcome of that may not always be the best thing for me or the most positive thing. So listen to your gut, ladies. Do you listen to your gut? All right. So I would love to know what you think about all this. Okay. And as I said, I want you to commit to doing something. I'm going to be coming back to all your comments. And as I said, this is something that I'm really passionate about doing, and I've learned so much from people of doing the lives over the last year. And I've put together a course all around, I suppose, confidence. It's got 4 modules and it will have not meditations and hypnosis techniques as well of what you can do to help this. There will be inner child healing, and I will going to be testing it with 10 people, and then I'm going to be putting it out there for sale after that. So going back to what I originally said at the beginning of the call, so I am putting up my calendar to work with 3 ladies who are interested. And as I said, I work with predominantly ladies, but also men. So if you are, I suppose, if you're feeling stuck at the moment, whether this is in your business, moving forward in your business, or moving forward in your life, or maybe you're at a crossroads and you don't know what direction to take, I can help you. And the next month masterclass that I'm going to be doing as well is all around that, helping you find your purpose in life, your clarity, your passion, your drive, what freedom you want. And again, this is something that I have done so much work on myself, and especially when you're putting out your message in relation to business and who you want to work with, it's something that's really powerful and really, really important. So I will pop up in the comments my calendar that I'm going to open up. I would encourage you to take me up on it. There's absolutely no obligation after the call. It's 30 minutes of one-to-one with me where I will help you figure out whatever it is that's going on with you. Like, as a life coach and NLP practitioner, it's not up to me to advise you what to do. It's up to me to challenge you, to listen to you, to guide you, to support you, to be your accountability person and offer you that freedom of speaking to someone without any judgment. Because, as you said, us ladies often feel judged, don't we? So, yeah. So, if you guys have any questions, let me know now before we finish up. And I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day. That's why I like to keep the trainings under the hour, because I know we're all busy and have things for doing. I actually have another session later on with a girl in Canada where I'm going into her group to talk to a bunch of ladies, all things confidence as well. So I don't see any questions coming in. So I want to thank you so much, as I said, for being here. I will reply to your comments and queries, etc., and I'll pop up the link, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I am going to change because we don't have 20 degrees here, and bring my little dog Freddie out for a walk, who has been very quiet over here in the couch asleep. And I thank you, Linda. The session was very eye-opening. Brilliant. That makes me really happy to hear that, because, as I said, it's something that I'm really passionate about. I love doing it. I love helping others, and as much, like, I get as much from doing this as I hope you do. I used to live in Ireland for 10 years and I miss it. Oh, yeah. What part of Ireland did you live in? Let me know. I hope it was the west of Ireland, because it's the best place to live. I'm only joking for those who aren't in the west of Ireland. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to let you go. Thanks, Bernadette. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rachel. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Thanks, Karen, I think, and Caroline. Galway, yay! See, Galway is the best. Galway is the best. Okay, take care. Love and laughter to you all, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.